My feet walk onto that burial soil where my abuser was laid to rest. Sooner or later, no matter what, the accused and the accuser turn to dust. I'm pondering the common way. Ancient grudges harden into love and hate, and we may take them to our grave. And so this truth, like a mighty wave, it swept all my pride away. And trembling, trembling, I forgave. And so this truth, like a mighty wave, it swept all my pride away. Trembling, trembling, I forgave. I forgave. I forgave. Thank you.
I understand that if you use the word prosperity, meaning the theme is that for the month, that people have issues about that. So in order to help relieve any potential inside tension or concerns or fears or beliefs that you're going to hear give this whole month, we're going to practice saying a word over and over and over again. And when I've done this in the past, it actually has a wonderful healing effect. So, if you'll please repeat after me. Tithe. 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 Tithe, 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 tithe. What happened? You guys are tired of hearing about it? You tired of saying it? Well, I'm sorry to disappoint. That's not what today is about. Today is about stepping into the circle, the truth of who and what we're made of. So to lead into this, I have a story about these 4 sophomores who were attending Duke University, taking organic chemistry together, and they were doing so well in their studies, the short quizzes and the labs, that they all had A's at this point, and they decided to go to Charlottesville to go to UVA and party with some friends the weekend before the final exam. So they went. They had a great time and subsequently slept all day Sunday and left for Duke again and got there late after the test had already been given. And so they decided that that was okay. They would go directly to the professor, tell them what happened. And so they did. And they told him, we went to UVA to play with some friends, and we had made plans to get back in time to do our final studying before the exam. But on the way back, we had a flat tire, didn't have a spare, and we couldn't get any help, and subsequently we missed the exam. We wondered if we could take it again. And the professor thought about it. He said, okay. He agreed. And so the next day, they all 4 showed up at the time that the professor gave them, and he took them each to separate rooms and gave them the test pamphlet and said, okay, you have 1 hour. And he walked away. So each of them, in turn, opened their pamphlet. Page 1, first question was worth 5 points, and it had something to do with free radical formation. And they saw that and thought, wow, cool, this is going to be easy. So they did their answers, and then they turned the page, and it says question number 2, worth 95 points. Which tire? Now imagine yourself in one of these students' places, sitting there in that chair, realizing, I'm busted. How much ease and peace are you feeling in your body right now? Not a lot, huh? And the premise of this series, The Trance of Scarcity, is about when we find ourselves in those situations, there is something you can do about it. You do not have to remain in that tensed up, hard to breathe state. That it's about the state of consciousness, our attitude in everything, that really supports us living a life of ease and flow. So the question is whether or not you know how to do that. And so through this series, we will take the book, we will go through the book, we will do some of the exercises, we'll do some additional exercises, the bottom line of which gives you mastery over that state of ease and flow. And Victoria Castle, the author of the book, called it in the circle, stepping into the circle, which is our natural place. We have to literally take ourselves out of the circle, is her idea. So this month, prosperity. Life is filled with possibility and plenty is available for everyone who chooses it and lets it in. People, there are 2 main ingredients there. First of all, the choosing it, meaning choosing our natural state, and 2, letting the experience of that in. If we don't let the experience itself in, it's just as the same as it doesn't exist, even though it does. And today, whoa, that's interesting, stepping into the circle, being able to find the still point of prosperity, that's that place that's in the circle, anywhere or any time makes all the difference in the world in our ability to claim life's abundant, it's not good, it's good. Ernest Holmes, in his original writing of The Science of Mind in 1926, limitation and poverty are not things, but are the results of restricted ways of thinking. Our thinking is what drives our experience of limitation and poverty. And our belief that limitation, poverty, lack, and all those things, I can'ts and etc., our belief about those things that most of us grew up in drives our continued experience of it. We literally have to untrain ourselves and train ourselves anew. So separation, doubt, loneliness are not things of themselves in the same way that Holmes was talking about, but are the results of the stories that we tell ourselves, about life, about other people, about a relationship with every single bit of it. So the stories we tell ourselves are just stories, people. They're not the truth. They're just stories. Well, that's the way I saw it. That's the way I experienced it. That's the way it is. That's just a story. And I know that may be hard to grasp at first blush. And if you're new to this teaching, it may even be harder to grasp, but there also is a sense of hope in realizing that just stories, and stories can be edited and rewritten. Ubuntu. Ubuntu comes from the Nguni Bantu languages, and Bantu is a particular language group of sub-Saharan Africa. And the southeastern part of that sub-Sahara portion of Africa is the Nguni dialect of Bantu. Ubuntu means humanity. And to take it a little further, It's coming from the philosophical point of view that I am because we are. That I am human because I belong. I am what I am because of who we all are. That there's a collective awareness that my humanity depends upon belonging. Instead of the other way around. It's not, I am human, therefore I belong. I belong, therefore I'm human, is what this term points to. So it begs the question, I think, since we already belong, and because we belong, we're human, belonging is the essence of humanity, it makes us human. Do you believe you belong? One of my first awarenesses was, this place is weird. Nothing here makes any sense. Nothing people are doing makes any sense. What am I doing here? I did not feel like I belonged. And this perpetuated itself through my whole life until I discovered this concept called unity and oneness. People can have this abstraction about unity and oneness, but the fact of the matter is, it doesn't mean we feel like we belong. And so we go and join things and places and groups and organizations. You got to be a member of this, you got to be a member of that, you got to join this particular clique or group, otherwise you don't belong. People join gangs in order to create a sense of belonging. It doesn't matter what the mission or the purpose is, what matters is the belonging. People will convert all sorts of mores of, say, toward treating each other with respect. They will convert that to dangerous behaviors or homicide even in order to belong to a group of people. That's not how it works. It doesn't make us belong. Belonging is something that comes from within. And then we can belong anywhere, anywhen. It matters not where we are. Belonging comes first. Do you believe you're enough and have enough? I love in our opening songs this morning about, it uses the enough word. Do you believe you are enough? If you don't believe you are enough, then you probably don't believe you have enough. Or if you have enough, it tends to not hang around. So, science of mind. The law knows about only that which we know about ourselves. I'm going to ignore the rest. The first part is the most important part. The law knows about only that which we know about ourselves. The law really does not care. It will produce for us anything we believe is true about us and life and our relationship with it. Do you regularly experience that you belong, no matter where you are? And if you do not, answer the question. This is not rhetorical. Why not? If you do not feel like you belong, why don't you feel like you belong? What's missing there that you feel like you belong? Because people, you exist. You belong already. And if you become aware of that belonging, that's when you become a human. That's a radical point of view in our culture today. The law knows about only that which we know about ourselves. So, Victoria Castle in The Trance of Scarcity, fairly early in the book, says, what you practice, you become. What if you practiced knowing your belongingness, your enoughness? How do you do that? Well, we'll do some exercises during the series in which we get to practice it. And the meditation that Linda was talking about, that Raj loaded on the website, gives you a chance to experience some of that. The important piece is the somatic piece, the feeling piece, the noticing within what you experience there. And then finding ways to re-engender the experience, to deepen the experience, to broaden the experience, to make it tap intuable. What if you lived as if you already belonged? Because you do. What if you lived as if you already belonged? Where would be rejection? You can't screw up. You can only learn. You can discover. What if we lived as if we already belonged? We don't have to fit in. We don't have to dress a certain way, act a certain way, cut our hair or not hair a certain way. We can just experience that natural ease and flow of the prosperity of life itself, filled with inhaling and exhaling, letting in, expressing, no holds barred. To experience true liberation, that's what's required. What if you lived as if you're enough and have enough? Answer the question for yourself. What if you lived that way? Practiced it every single day. Every time you feel tense or tightened up or shut down or enclosed or trapped in any particular way, what if you practiced, I'm enough, and start behaving accordingly? What if we lived as if we're enough and have enough? Where would be the restriction? Where would be the limitation? It's all self-conceived anyway. And yes, we can get agreement. Man, can we get agreement of how limited life is. Belief in lack is the one and only thing that causes lack. And in proportion as we lay that belief aside, it shall be removed. Belief in lack is the one and only thing that causes lack. Belief in limitation is the only thing that causes limitation. What you practice, you become. What if you practiced letting yourself feel that natural, easy, abundant flow of life that already goes on within you? You constrict it. I constrict it. Even we as a collective can constrict it. What if we let that easy flow loose? What if we loose ourselves instead of lose ourselves? So, please, let's affirm together. I am enough. I already belong. I am enough. I already belong. I'm enough. I already belong. Let it happen. Let the experience happen. Say it one more time, and this time we're going to pause between. I want you to close your eyes and feel what you notice inside. I am enough. What happens to the shoulders? What happens to breathing? What happens in the body? And now the next affirmation, I already belong. And close your eyes and notice what happens inside. I already belong. People, that is the secret, the key to building community. as each of us recognize we already belong, as each of us recognize that's what makes us human, and we be human together, that means I recognize in you and me pretty much the same needs, the same desires, and I see in you your true humanity, that you are enough and that you already belong. Let's treat each other from that place and know the truth together. Bless you. So I breathe and see therein and experience therein the power and intelligence of the universe itself. As the air comes into contact with the cells of the body, it gets absorbed and circulated through the body, refreshing, re-energizing, rejuvenating every cell, all from easily, naturally, effortlessly breathing. So I know that breath as God's breath, as the breath of the cosmos even. And as I breathe, I let more of that experience of perfection, wholeness, joy, peace, ease, enoughness settle into the body. And as each person brings that desire forward and receives the spoken word about that, I know they begin to experience it more fully every single moment, and rejoice in going forward this week and experiencing it more fully. So as these individual prayers continue, I speak my word for this beloved community. And let in more truth. And let each let out more truth. And that takes the form of peace of mind and ease, of joy, of the experience of the abundant opportunity and possibility in life itself. Restrictions dissolve. Openness expands. And whether the desire has to do with physical health and well-being, that peace of mind of which I referred earlier, love, relationship, work, or abundance itself in any other form, I know the answer has already come. And I feel a sense of celebration about it, knowing it as already complete, already so. So letting increases, and I let that be. So in affirmation of this expanded experience of life, together we say, and so it is.